Dear comrades, first I would like to salute you on behalf of the Central Committee of the new Communist Party of Yugoslavia. We especially want to send greetings to our fraternal organization from Greece, Collective for the Revolutionary Unification of Humanity. Also, we would like to thank the efforts of comrades from the People's Democratic Party for a significant ideological and practical job in the anti-imperialist platform. Today, we gather in Athens to mark 50 years of the heroic uprising in Polytechnica. It was the start of the end of the military junta regime and dictatorship supported by the US and Greece. During the 20th century, Greek people fought for independence and social justice. Also, they led the anti-fascist and anti-imperial struggle, and the Communist Party had a significant role in this struggle. Unfortunately, after the Second World War, the US started to control the political process in Greece, and they occupied this country. NATO has a significant number of military bases in this country. Thanks to it, after the Second World War and during the dictatorship in Greece, one of the biggest genocide happened against the communists in history. During the 19th, Greek people supported my country against NATO bombarding and sanction, and we will never forget it. Communist and progressive people organized sabotage against the NATO, and thanks to it, NATO stopped the land invasion from Greece to my country. The Greek people's heroic struggle inspired many progressive people in the world. Unfortunately, many opportunistic organizations from this country use sentiment and symbols, shout revolutionary slogans, and use revolutionary phraseology. Still in practice, they led pro-imperialist and opportunistic politics and disoriented the masses. We are a country from the Balkan Peninsula, like to Greece. The region of the Balkans is a region of great strategic importance. The Balkan is attracting the imperialist powers like a magnet and making our area an essential arena for manifesting NATO strategic goals. NATO occupied our peninsula. Practice showed that NATO is the most significant security risk in the world, and the people of Serbia felt that on their skin during the bombarding in 1999. The Serbs directly opposed the interests of Western imperialism and NATO, and no doubt suffered significant damage and were victims of it. Starting with the fact that the most crucial number of displaced persons from their homes in the territory of the most crucial number of displaced persons from their homes in the territory of Yugoslavia were among the Serbian people. That NATO bombed us with weapons prohibited by international conventions and thus committed a Serb war crime for which no one has been accused and convicted yet, with depleted uranium from which tens of thousands of people die every year in Serbia. Undoubtedly, however, all the peoples of the former Yugoslavia, without exception, have been and are victims of Western imperialism and the violent dismantling of Yugoslavia. Political and economic dependence and conditions are crystal clear everywhere in former Yugoslavia. We have become easy prey for sharks that have entered our waters. The necessary and urgent duty for the people is to reject and oppose the policy of divide and conquer, which aims at the emergence of new and weak states, in the fact protectorates, as is the case in the face of the situation emerging in Kosovo. Today, the imperialist plans and revival may again cause bloodshed in the region. The policy promoted by the imperialist powers aims not only to intensify foreign interventions, but also to establish governments serve to the imperialist dictates of the regimes that will further deepen the capitalist exploitation and bind their countries to the imperialist organization of NATO and the EU. Today, imperialist Western plans may cause bloodshed in the region again. The policy promoted by the Western imperialist powers aims not only to intensify foreign interventions, but also to establish governments rival to imperialist dictates of regimes that will further deepen the capitalist exploitation and bind their countries to imperialist organization of NATO and EU. In the international public for a long time and with clear political intentions and unfruitful distorted picture was being created regarding what happened in the territory of the former Yugoslavia. Everything has been presented correctly to protect those generally responsible and draw the wrong conclusions about what happened and backgrounds of the war against Yugoslavia. There is a fundamental historical fact that one should proceed from when seeking to understand what happened. Just a moment, because it's so good. Today, under the pressure of NATO and the EU, Serbia is forced to recognize Kosovo and Metohija as independent countries. Western imperialism wants to Kosovo and wants to present that as a historical solution between Serbs and Albanians. If Serbs agrees to that scenario, that would violate international law and create new clashes in multi-ethnic Balkans, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Macedonia, southwestern Serbia, and Montenegro. It is clear to everyone that Western imperialism does not want a peaceful solution, but new clashes to control the Balkan Peninsula. That is precisely what is going on in Kosovo right now. Danger developments of the current administration in Pristina continue to take unilateral move regardless of the security risks. At the end of September, the situation in Kosovo and Metohija escalated. In these clashes, 3 Serbs and 1 of policemen, not to legalize former terrorists in the so-called Kosovo police, have died. The new Communist Party of Yugoslavia points out that in exclusive and objective culprits for the new escalation of violence in north of Kosovo, which led to the tragedy and loss of human life, are the separatist puppet regime of Albin Kurti in Pristina and its Western imperialist masters. The anger and the rebellion of the Serbian people in the north of Kosovo, who are daily exposed to the terror of the Albanian pro-imperialist regime in Pristina, is entirely understandable and justified. The behavior of 4 is hypocritical and shameful. It indicates that the continuous violence of the so-called Kosovo police is carried out with the permission of the information tools in the hands of imperialists from Washington, Brussels, and London. On the occasion of the tragic event, the new Communist Party of Yugoslavia sent its sincere condolences to the families of those killed in the clashes in the village of Banjska in Kosovo and Metohija. Since June 1999 and the sign of the Kuman Agreement, the southern Serbian province of Kosovo and Metohija has been under occupation of the striking military fist of Western imperialism, NATO, and the Serbs living in the area have since become second-class citizens. The NKPU demands that the puppet pro-imperialist government in Kosovo immediately stop the pressure on the Serbian people living in the territory and provide of refugees the opportunity to return to their homes. The Serbian and Albanian people in Kosovo and Metohija should live in peace and together and follow the tradition of a fraternal relationship between Albanians and Serbs who fought side by side against the Nazi-fascist occupator in the Second World War. Conflict in Kosovo is not over. It is just waiting for the moment to erupt and explode again, because peace is not achieved, and it won't to be achieved as long as imperialism decided the destiny of the people living there. Before the end, we need to say that in these historical circumstances, the main task of communist and anti-imperialist forces is that we, on the one hand, fight against theoretical opportunism, phraseology, manipulations, and theoretical ignorance. On the other hand, we need to find solutions for our practical problems. Also, we need to repeat our slogan: NATO killers, get out of the Balkans. Balkans belong to the Balkan peoples.